And it's baseball night in New York here on Geico Sports Night. Anthony McCarron, Mark Malusis, and Sal Licata. So let's do opinions on the deal, the Yankees' future in just a second. But Anthony, what do you know about Torres that you can tell us?
Well, he's 19 years old and he's played at Class A. He's young for that league, which is a good sign because he's got nearly an 800 OPS down there. And he projects to be a quality defender with a plus arm. And that's a good sign because that means he could possibly stay at short. But even if he has to move off short, I think some scouts and rival evaluators, I talked to an executive from another team today who said that his bat would play at another position, not just short. So he's not one of those glove-first guys who you're hoping to get a little bit of offense out of. He's got a bat.
And I love how Yankee fans are already panicking. Well, we have so many shortstops already. Could we get anyone else in another position? It's a little early for that. So what's interesting to me, Moose, about this is that it seems like Brian Cashman maybe all along thought he would trade Aroldis Chapman. He got him for nothing, traded him for a lot. He probably feels good about that. The question now becomes about what he mentioned there that we just heard. Will he turn this into a domino effect?
Well, I mean, I think he also made it, I mean, it's become clear that basically the team's got to lead the way. So, I mean, you reach out to Chapman. Chapman's not looking to sign a contract extension. You go out there, you get an unbelievable deal from the Cubs. You get their first prospect. You get their number 5 prospect. You get Warren. So the package coming back to the Yankees not only helps now with Warren, but also gives you more assets moving forward for this team. Now it's a case of what do they do moving forward here? How does this team play? And I think then, Doug, you'll find out exactly what they do with Carlos Beltran, what they then do with Andrew Miller. If you get this kind of package for Aroldis Chapman, who's an absolute rental, imagine what you'd get from, say, the Washington Nationals for, say, an Andrew Miller. So I think really the team, in essence, goes out there and leads the way. This is a smart baseball move, though, because he is, in essence, a rental. You can go out there and attack him in free agency. But I think right now he's going to see exactly what this team does over the next 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should sell more, but this was a separate entity. This had to be done. They needed to trade Chapman. As Cashman said, they're trading from an area of strength. The one thing that I don't like about it is that they didn't get back any young arms. Now, I know maybe it wasn't a match in particular with the Cubs, so they did get back top prospects, but I want to see them restock the young arms in that system. The other thing is we should at least mention it. They did get Chapman for nothing, and they sold him and got a boatload back, but for obvious reasons because of domestic dispute stuff. Just like the Mets did with Reyes, you get him on the cheap. So the Yankees made out because of that. Otherwise, they would have never got Chapman that cheap. So they made out with it. I think it's a great deal. I think they should sell more because I don't believe in this team.
Is there enough time for them to figure out between now and the trade deadline who they are? I mean, are they going to learn anything that they don't already know, even if they lose every game or they win them?
Well, one of the teams that's in their way is the team they're playing right now, the Astros. They're ahead of them in the wild card race. What if they sweep the Astros? I mean, how are we evaluating the Yankees then if they're moving up the chain in the wild card race? I think they've got a week to wait, and they can wait till the end. And I think a lot of deals can come together quickly afterward if they decide to chuck it and go for it and sell the belt.
Well, I mean, he started taking calls. I mean, I'm sure a long time ago to see exactly what team.
Right. Cashman has said he's had both conversations, buying and selling. So he's probably along on some ideas that could come together quickly.
Right. And so you've got plenty of time. I mean, we saw deals last year. I mean, look at the Mets and the Tigers. I mean, that deal came across basically in the last half hour right before the MLB trade deadline last July 31st. So there's already, lines out there in the water for Cashman to go out there and pluck a team and see exactly what they'd get in return or what a team is indeed offering. Now it's a case, I think Cashman understands what this team is. I don't think he believes that this team is going anywhere, but he needs ownership to be behind his decisions moving forward here. I think eventually they'll get in line. I think eventually Beltran is going to go. Potentially an Andrew Miller could go, but ownership's got to give the A-OK.
Yeah, the other great thing about trading Chapman now is that the value of Miller goes up. So it is, think of how rare it is to be the one team to be able to sell 2 different closers. Okay, we sent off Chapman to the Cubs. Now we have the other guy. If you want him, he's locked up for a couple of years. You're going to have to pay because obviously less with Chapman being gone.
Well, Sal, that's an interesting point because they're actually in a position to control the entire trade market now because they have an elite hitter and in a very thin starting pitching market, they've got, I mean, Ivan Nova may not move the needle very much, but it's a bad pitching market.
Well, right.
So if somebody needs pitching, Eovaldi, Pineda, Nova, they've got pieces to trade, so they could be in command of everything.
Now let's look at it. I mean, right now, because of the control you have and because of the player that he is, Andrew Miller potentially is the best player a team could go out there and acquire.